Annandale, Springfield area. I have well over half of my schools have more than 50% free and reduced lunch, some 70% free and reduced lunch. And as we know, that's federal standards. It does not reflect the actual cost of living here in Northern Virginia. So I represent an incredibly diverse district. While there may be one or two districts that have more total minorities, I have a wide breadth of minorities from Ethiopia, when I'm out going door to door on Ramadan. They may be from Bangladesh or from intelligentsia from Iraq or Iran. Certainly the boat people of Cambodia or military from Vietnam, many El Salvadorians, etc. So that the breadth is incredible. Now with that, I also want to thank you so much, my colleagues, for letting me go first. Obviously, I've sponsored a Little League team for decades, and I can't miss the opening day, but I will very much miss being able to talk with people individually at this event, as well as hearing my colleagues, because it's one of the most informative legislative reports that happens each year. I'm going to contribute on two specific things and say a few words in overview, as John just asked me to. The two specific things that I prepared to do so that we don't duplicate each other too much. One is about Medicaid expansion. We've heard it in every possible way. I want to share with you this morning another perspective on it. This budget, as we go into the veto override session, is the first budget in years that there won't be any changes at all, no line item changes or vetoes. And one of the reasons for that is the absolute recalcitrance in the House of Delegates to consider in any way Medicaid expansion. So what the governor put together with Secretary Hazel was an expansion that at the very least, and as you all well know, being 47th in the nation in our Medicaid spending, there are many services that we do not provide that other states do provide, as we only do the bare minimum. So looking at what is a step above the bare minimum, the governor and Secretary Hazel focused on the fact that those who have severe mental disabilities and who are low income, $16,000 a year or less, which is, again, almost incredible on its face, deserve the same treatment that we have given for years to those who are physically disabled that are covered by Medicaid. So that expansion into the mental health community will bring additional individuals under Medicaid coverage. But the perspective I'd like to quickly share with you this morning, without going through all of my back-of-the-envelope calculations, that we will spend approximately $225 million to do this. It will be, however, under the normal Medicaid program. So this federal share will only be about 52.5%. If it was under Medicaid expansion, it could have been 90%. We have left, in that one move, $85 million on the table that other states are drawing from the federal Medicaid program, that in the refusal to consider even the details of Medicaid expansion, bearing it always in the rhetoric, we will never participate in Obamacare, we have left $85 million spending from Virginia taxpayers on this one program alone, when that $85 million could have been spent in a number of different ways with high priority. In general audiences, I always refer to the fact that in K through 12, per child spending from the state is still where it was in 2008, as we have not recovered at all that spending at all from recessionary times. But the SALT program, including the one that John and I have worked on for so long, just food stamps going to women who have served their time in prison so that they can continue to support their families, that has always been killed as a matter of budget, as has my determination that someday we will have staffing standards in our nursing homes. which we do not have. So with that, may I just stop with that by saying, in addition to that, we did have $4 million in additional support to our healthcare centers. Because we turned away 10,000 individuals in these centers this last year. But that is solely general fund money. That $4 million is solely from Virginia taxpayers instead of putting it under a Medicaid umbrella. The second totally different item that I would like to address quickly, and remember my introduction of the incredible diversity of my district? Well, for a number of years I have been aware, because I also handle the monthly updates of the State Board of Elections corrections to my voter rolls. So I am well aware, and I'm also a bad speller, of how many errors there are out there in the way in which people's names are either spelled or treated, the respect that is given to an individual's name. Well, when we went to the idea of having to have, which I was not at all supportive of, government-issued voter ID, we now have tried to blend the bureaucratic decisions from a number of different agencies of what a person's name is into one system at the poll on election day. Is the person before me with this voter ID, in fact, the person who is registered to vote? And I saw it as being absolutely rife with opportunities for discrimination. That as I was intimately involved with many examples on my list, I can tell you of third and fourth generation where the husband's name LaPierre is L-A space capital P, but the wife's name is all run together. Those individuals, I am sure, will not be challenged at the poll. But I was presented to the committee all kinds of examples of whether or not a name from the Middle East might be hyphenated or not, or all run together. Again, you're not going to challenge O'Connell, and we've gotten used to where the apostrophe goes, but we're still getting used to where the hyphen goes. In putting together the material, this is the last example of several that I could give, looking at the website, user-friendly website for getting your passport. And it assures you that if you just come with the following documents, you should have no problem getting your passport. And the website notes, however, it will be up to the agent what name appears on your passport. There are individuals who want to have all 6 names as they are proud of that Latino heritage, who have been truncated to only 2 or 3. And there is the opposite, but again, all of it in discrepancy with what's on the voter rolls. It was a real peril of Pauline. I had strong support from a number of immigrant communities behind the scene, because we did not want to make this an immigrant issue, even though that was my concern, that it would be used for discrimination. It was only, and I won't go into the peril of Pauline, when I was able to convince the individuals who were voting against it still again on the Privileges and Election Committee that this issue has been resolved when it comes to voting stock options, that if it is substantially similar, it shall be assumed that it is the same name. That did pass, and again, it was one of those victories that I am obviously very relieved to have carried forward, but again, I particularly appreciate all of the input that I got from immigrant communities and their wisdom in letting it go forward without the kind of emphasis that many of them wanted to give to it, as they, like so many generations before, were Ellis Island as far as the pride in their family history, and again, the danger that that represented in discrimination. So having said that, John, you also said the veto session coming up, there will be a substantial controversy, of course, on gun control issues that we will be going through, and I will not take any more time, but take but 1 more minute to leave you with something that is of concern, and that's all about our ID. We will have strong debate about that. It has as we are able now to collect all kinds of information, the issue becomes, now that this information that has always been posted on the courthouse door is in fact accessible, should we stop collecting it? And in positing the question that way, I come down on the side that when it comes down to issues like database of license plate readers, which is specifically before us, and other such issues, the focus that we have to keep on as legislators is how it is used, and making sure that only those that traditionally have had legitimate reason to use that data have access to it, so it is not abused. But I do not come down on the side, especially with the just concluded Marathon Bomber trial, as well as some of the other things that we have recently seen in the news, that when you have a video record, what that means as far as being able to find a missing person, to deal immediately with the public safety threat that might be out there. And these are the challenges that will be heavily debated as well, which are side lights actually to most of what SALT's good work does on the individual lives of people. But again, I thank you so much over the years. Again, John, all of you, all of the groups that are part of SALT, you are really the best source of information that I could ask for in the way in which you help us through some of these difficult issues and make us understand the reality, and again, in people's lives. Thank you.